Hello. Today I'll be talking about why you should include calisthenics in whatever workout program you are following. Number one, with calisthenics, you learn how to move your body through space. Well, what does this mean, really? Well, it teaches you how to move your body in certain fashions to produce certain effects. So, put it even simpler, for example, with a push-up, you will experiment and see which variation, if you're flaring your elbows out a little bit more, tucking them in a little bit more, which will provide you with the best contractions and best results. And for that, I know that push-ups for me have really allowed myself to feel the contraction in my chest if I do it a certain way. And that's carried over to bench press, machine press, and all that other stuff. Number two, you get strength to move your entire body. Because calisthenics is primarily a strength to body weight ratio kind of exercise, sport, activity, one of those. And this really humbles you if you're overweight, fat, or bulking excessively, because you'll not be able to maintain your strength in certain exercises with calisthenics. And to top it off, when I get to 60, I don't really care about how much I can bench press. I rather care if I can just move my body. If I can still do push-ups at 60, I want to do that. I want to be able to still do push-ups, still be able to just move my body really well and have coordination at 60. And thirdly, to this point, there's a different strength carryover to weights. I said that wrong. You can carry over strength from calisthenics to weights much more easily than weights to calisthenics. So for example, with handstand push-ups, the strength needed to do handstand push-ups can be carried over to a similar weight. So if your body weight's 150 pounds and you can do 10 handstand push-ups, you can probably do 150 pounds in overhead press. But I don't think the reverse is nearly as prevalent. If you can overhead press 150 pounds, you probably can't do handstand push-ups. Primary reason being balance. Balance is something you need to learn with handstands and handstand push-ups. And two is just body awareness, which also ties into balance. But with handstand push-ups, you need to be so much more aware of your body. Everything needs to be so much more relatively tight compared to overhead press. With overhead press, you can get away with not engaging your core, really. Well, not actively engaging your core, not actively engaging your legs. You can somewhat get away with it. Handstand push-ups, you can't really, because that'll influence how much you balance. And if you're out of balance, well, you're not getting the handstand push-ups, at least freestanding. Number three, calisthenics makes you more creative. Because you don't have machines dedicated machines for movement, you need other ways to hit the same movements. You can do rows with a desk, instead of barbell rows, seated rows. You can do pull-ups on your bed if it's bunked. But I do suggest getting a pull-up bar. And it also just makes you learn some biomechanics for your muscles. which I think everyone should learn, because learning how your body works mechanically will help you much better. And like, say if you get an injury, you'll somewhat know what part of your body like injured. So like, say you injure some part of your arm and it hurts when you you basically do a curl. So you probably injured something near your bicep or your bicep. So I do think it's valuable. Number 4, and this also ties into the argument that it's humbling if you're fat and overweight or bulking. You'll see immediate effects from what you eat, especially the food mass. So like if you like eat like a 2-pound lunch and then work out right after that, you will most likely not be able to perform as well as if you didn't do that. And so this also just humbles you. It also just makes you, I guess, aware of when you should eat. I guess then again, this could also be a downside, because with weights you can like kind of eat whenever you want, and like not have an adverse effect on your lifts. So it could be seen as a downside. But I do think that anything that humbles you is for your benefit. It also makes you think more. So number 5, probably the biggest reason. You don't need a gym. And well, benefits, you don't waste that much money. You don't waste money on gym memberships. Another thing, probably the biggest thing in my opinion, is the time you waste. You need time to drive or walk or just go to the gym. And then I would suppose you'd need to change or shower, so that's time to change and shower in the gym. And then third thing is just waiting for a machine. Like we all know, like that person who like spends 10 minutes on a machine. Like, come on, what are you doing? And then right now, especially since it's New Year's resolution time, or like still relatively during that time, there's just a lot of people right now in the gym, so you need to wait extra, probably, or at least more than usual. And another benefit for not needing to go to the gym, you can work out anywhere. I mean, as long as you have creativity, from my previous point. And well, one thing I do suggest is getting a pull-up bar, because getting a pull-up bar will help you so much more with working out your back. And honestly, the pull-up is just one of the most amazing back exercises, which is stated over and over again, I know, but I'll say it again. It's very good. And something I haven't heard anyone say is, if you're working out in your house, you don't need to wear a mask. Like, is it just me, or is it like, it's quite suffocating to work out in a mask? Especially if you're like sweaty and then like the mask itself gets like pretty sweaty. It's just like, oh, no, please, no. So that's just quite annoying. Number 6, calisthenics has a lot of compound movements, and this is really good because it just gives you more bang for your buck per movement, so you can just work out more muscles with each exercise, which is good. Although it's bad for isolation, but in general, compound movements are really good. Like the pull-ups, amazing for your back. Push-ups, good for shoulder health, and really good for your chest, triceps, and rear anterior deltoids, which is your front shoulder. Handstand, really good for all 3 heads of your shoulder. And something that ties into this is just the argument that you can't build muscle with calisthenics, which is so untrue, because you can build muscle with any movement that at least has some resistance comparatively to how much your muscles can handle. What do I mean by this? So if you get a bicep injury, you tear your bicep, it takes around like 1 or 2 months for it to properly reattach and heal, and then you go to rehab. You can do a bicep curl with no weight, and it will grow because you haven't used it for those 1 or 2 months because you literally couldn't because it was just not attached, and yeah. So like that little stimulus is enough for hypertrophy, and you will grow from that. So, argument that building muscle is just false. And final reason, calisthenics, especially the advanced movements like handstand, human flag, planche, levers, they just look fucking awesome. Like, personally, planche is what inspired me to start calisthenics, and I'm definitely going to achieve that one day. Like, and also just calisthenics movements, at least in my opinion, are admired by other people, or at least people are surprised if you can do them, because I guess it's universal, but like calisthenics movements and just gymnastics movements are really hard, and like people admire things that need effort, and well, calisthenics exercises definitely need effort to achieve, and so I think people will admire that. Alright, getting into counter arguments. You'll definitely have a harder time training some muscles without weights. So like isolation for your biceps, forearms, lateral head for your shoulders, lower back, and then just other muscles like just your legs, just your entire lower body. At a certain point, you need weight. You need some weight to grow your legs because, yeah, you can do like multiple sets of like 20 reps of pistol squats, but at a certain point you need to add some weight. Like even, okay, if you can do like 5 sets of 20 reps of pistol squats, you're sandbagging so much, because you can consistently get 20 reps every single set on both legs. There's no way, you're either training for endurance or you're just sandbagging. So, another downside is you don't get that gym aura. No one's gonna hype you up, which in my opinion is a benefit because it teaches you how to train no matter what. And then another thing is you don't have any sexy yoga pants to look at to motivate you. And another downside is there aren't that many extremely good sources for information about calisthenics, especially at least in my experience on YouTube. Personally, I watch fitness FAQs, Saturno Movement, Frank's Movement TV, and also Calisthenics Movement. I think that's the name, Calisthenics Movement. But yeah, there's not that many compared to like bodybuilding. Well, bodybuilding is the most popular, I guess. Although there's also just niches in bodybuilding. I think calisthenics is still quite underrated. Although I do recommend that you dodge calisthenics channels like Thenix. Thenix is Alright, let me just give you an example. I began calisthenics with Thenix, just like looking at their videos and then eventually getting their app and then using some of the programs. I remember some of the programs being just a laundry list of exercises with like 3 to 4 sets of each. So like just imagine 10 to 12 exercises, 3 to 4 sets each. Like that's 30 to 48 sets in a single day. Like if you're a beginner, there's no way you're gonna recover from that. Like, even if you're advanced, I don't think you can recover from that. Like it's too much. Like, why? You don't need that much volume unless you're sandbagging. Like if you're training hard, you don't need that much volume. Like personally, I train 5 exercises on my upper body days. So I do push-pull legs. So for push, I do 5 exercises. Pull, I do 5 exercises. And then legs, I do 7. Because I include adductors and abductors. Otherwise, is pretty much in a week, like, I don't know, like around 6 to 10 sets per muscle group, and that's plenty. And I think that anyone following a program that has like 10 to 12 exercises will burn out so fast, and they will hate training. And that is just sad, because training is, well, I mean, in my opinion, training can be fun, but can also hurt. Like, come on. Like, training at some point does hurt. Like, it's some days just, yeah, this is gonna hurt. But otherwise, training, in my opinion, is very valuable and is very dear to my heart. Anyway, that was my argument of why you should include calisthenics. And I'll see you in the next one. See ya.